Take one.
Hi, I'm Noah Preminger, and this is Jazz Language, a podcast that gives an inside look into the music industry.
Let's cut.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here at the Dada Bar in Ridgewood, Queens. I have two amazing guests. This is Michael Feinberg, amazing bassist and organizer of the Ridgewood Jazz Festival. Thank you for being here. Yunie Mojica, amazing saxophone player, recording artist, and organizer of multiple festivals and series. Thank you for being here.
And Hartford native.
And we might get into that. we grew up minutes from each other,
Right?
And didn't know it.
Yes.
So we'll get into it. Thank you to Chilltone for having us do this at Dada, and excited to have this on Jazz Language podcast, which is taken off, and we're really thrilled to be doing. So thank you for being here. Yes. So like I said, you both are performing musicians. You made records. You've done the hustle for years. I guess my question is, like, at what point did you feel like doing more for your community was important? Because you do a lot for your community. So when did that kind of hit you? Like, I feel like I need to do more.
That feeling came to me when I was in Hartford, when I at the Jackie McLean Institute. I wasn't getting as many opportunities as some of my peers, along with my friend, colleague, Raynell Frazier, and we came together and formed a group. At that time, it was called Emoja, which was a principle of Kwanzaa. And then we also saw other people not getting as many opportunities, so we created a festival called the Emoja Music Series, and that was, I want to say, 2003, 6. I'm losing count these days. But that was the first desire to serve community, is lack of opportunities for myself and others at the same time. So that's where it started.
Cool.
Yeah, that's definitely a part of my story as well. Something that's changed a lot recently is that there are so many more musicians. So that means that the gigs that exist, are more competitive. A great thing is that this music has always allowed for the artist to be an entrepreneur, and there's many places that you can perform this music without needing a ton of technical support, without needing huge backline. And so for a very inexpensive amount, you can kind of make a show anywhere. So when I was in college, I actually did my first version of that. I had a thing called the Miami Creative Music Collective, MCMC, and we would do a monthly show. We'd highlight a young composer, and we'd play all their tunes. And this was in a very rough neighborhood of Miami, and it was something that kind of went away from as I moved up to New York and was working on my career as an artist. And the last couple of years, I was touring a lot, and the tours were getting harder. They were costing more money, and I was getting less out of them. So it was a good idea to refocus, try something new, and coming back home, staying in one place and working out some opportunities for others and for myself has been really beneficial for my career as a performer, but also because I've gotten to know so many more people. I've gotten to get kind of reinvigorated into the New York scene. When you get to a certain level and you're kind of in and out of town a lot, you lose touch with what's happening next. So I didn't know a lot of these young musicians coming here who just got out of school, who are working on the beginning of their career. So being able to highlight them, as well as establish artists who maybe don't get as much recognition as they deserve, kind of made sense at where I am in my career, because I have those connections on both sides.
So yesterday we did a taping for the podcast, and I was able to bring down Ken Field, who is the president of Jazz Boston organization. People come up with some really great ideas, and Ken's always like, well, put your money where your mouth is.
Right.
I'm not doing this all. So you guys clearly have put your money where your mouths are, and have hustled.
I'm doing it all. So Ken, I need to talk to you, man.
Or someone else's money.
Right. Well, that's where I'm going a little bit with this. So I guess my question is, well, what does the hustle look like to make these things happen? Where do you find funding? This might be a very long or multi-answer.
It's a really important and a great question. I'm going to let Yunie start off.
Thanks. I'd say it depends on what scale. I've had experience from when doing it as a student. It was applying for a grant opportunity that came up. The other side is I've worked for institutions. All the festivals that I've worked for happened through community funding, donors, and a lot of grants. And on a smaller scale, independent scale, a lot of times it's either working with the venue, if the venue that you want to work with has a budget, or there's doors, and then just a lot of times connections and build that part of community where a musician, you might not be able to pay the musician as much money as you'd like, but if it's a free show, then they might be able to come down on their rates. But it's a lot of it is favors sometimes. But when you have grants, or if there's an institution you can pay that's involved, you can pay people properly.
Can you go a little bit more into the grant thing? Because that's a daunting space.
Yes.
And that's also really hard. Like when I talk to my students who are trying to, get a big band piece happening.
Yeah.
Or trying to just work more. Mm-hmm. And we talk about grants. They're like, that's a scary thing. What does that look like trying to apply for grants in your world?
It's almost like applying for a job. When you apply for a job, you look at all of the qualifications and you look at your own and how you relate to that. And you want to, when you're applying for these grants or this job, you want to speak to every point that the goal of the job opportunity is, while staying true to yourself as an artist and staying true so that you can also uphold the goals of the grant at the same time. Mm-hmm. So the biggest piece of whether you're an artist just trying to get a grant or trying to build a festival by applying to grants, you have to be able to tell what your goals are, who you're serving, how many people you expect to show up, mm-hmm. and being realistic and truthful about it. If it's 50 people, you could still get a grant. If it's 100, if it's 1,000, 5,000, you have to be able to speak intelligently about and realistically about who you want in the room, who your target audience is, and describing that as best as you can. And also the artists the programming, you have to be able to talk about your programming goals as well. You might want to have a festival that's all based on having women band leaders, and that is attractive to some grant stakeholders. It could be a festival that's more geared towards Caribbean music in jazz, just an example. People have a lot of, like you said, people have plenty of ideas, but being able to articulate it for grants, it's kind of a game in a way. You might hate the player, but
let me tell you who's bad at that game, because we won 0 grants and we applied to a bunch of them. Some of that is technical because what I decided to was create a 501c3, which is a registered not-for-profit with the state, a tax-exempt status. And that opens you up to different types of funding. But what I didn't realize at the time is that you're required to provide 3 years of tax records before you're qualified to get city and state funding for a majority of the grants. So what I do primarily is old school hustling, cold calling, emailing, walking into businesses and speaking with the owners and the management.
Is that what you did here at Dada?
Yes. So this specific venue is 5 minutes away from my house. It used to be a terrible coffee shop that no one ever went to. And one day I looked around the corner and I was like, what is this place? And all my friends are playing here? Like, what is going on? I popped in and I met the owner. He was sitting at the bar. And, we become good friends. We have vested interest in the community. We have a lot of mutual friends in common, and sometimes the personal relationships are the best way to find funding and opportunities, because this one person may have access to someone else who's got some funding. And we have collected over 25 individual sponsorships from different local small businesses. And that's the primary way that we have raised money. So if you go and check out our festival flyers and our posters, you'll see like 20 different logos on it. And those were all people who have sponsored at less than $2,500. So it requires a lot. It's called development in the nonprofit world. It just requires consistency. You're going to get a lot of doors closed in your face, but it's kind of the skills you learn as a musician really translate to that. I'm not afraid to call someone out of the blue and ask for a gig. I'm not afraid to kind of be persistent and understand that these are busy people. They get a lot of emails, they get a lot of calls, but to continue and make it known, make yourself known in the community. And now that I've had a chance to present a few of these festivals and shows, people have understood that this is a brand, that this is worth their investment, and we're getting more people interested in donating money and sponsoring. So that's been crucial for us, but it is something that takes up about 90% of my work related to putting on the festival, which is way too much.
Have you heard of Fractured Atlas?
I don't know that.
So if you are not official 501c3, they are a nonprofit that you can work with to get grants and things like that as a fiscal sponsor, essentially.
Yeah. So last year we worked with Keyed Up Jazz Generation, and they acted as our fiscal sponsor, which is a great organization that presents music all across the city. They subsidize businesses that are not music venues and help them to pay musicians so that they can have a gig and play. But really, the name of the game, whatever it is that you want to do, artist, entrepreneur, it just requires hustle. It doesn't matter if you want a gig, there's 100 saxophone players. Why should someone pick you?
They don't.
But you have your own band. You've been playing 10 years at a club. It's not a lot of people can say that.
14.
So 14, excuse me, 14. Yeah. So it's really, you have to have something that is unique to you and show other people that there's value in having you compared to anywhere else where they could put their money.
So can you take us through what it looks like, Ridgewood, Charlie Parker Festival, what it really takes day to day to get this going? How do you get it together? How do you get other people involved? Give us some more insight.
Yunie has a bigger support system in the places she works. I'm kind of a one-stop shop. So my day revolves around putting out constant fires across everything from, hey, my name was misspelled on my ticket and I can't board the flight that I'm supposed to be on right now, which just happened yesterday, to, hey, I need 9 cymbal stands tomorrow. There's so many things that come up on a day-to-day. So a big part of my job is kind of like managing those things, being realistic with what is possible and what's impossible, managing people's expectations and realities, and trying to live up to the lies I tell everyone. That's a big thing. You got to kind of fake it till you make it, yeah, of course we're going to get you all of those things that you need in your rider. Definitely. And then you have, your budget, you have your amount of time, you have your contacts, and you got to figure it out. And maybe they get the Nord Electro 2 instead of the Nord Electro 1, but the gig's happening.
Right. How about you?
I'd say we do get a lot of my name is Mrs. Spelled Wrong. We're a team. Summer Stage and Charlie Parker Jazz Fest is a team of 4 people in terms of our programming team. We have about 45 free shows, 25 in Central Park, 25 citywide. So that's 50. Math.
Wow, that's big.
Yeah. So we have to program music for this whole city, and then Charlie Parker Jazz Fest is 3 days. So just focusing more on Charlie Parker Jazz Festival, there's kind of a formula that's been in place since its inception and has changed over the years, but the Friday is always a big band with an opening act. The Saturday and Sunday are 4 acts. First 2 days are in Harlem, second day is in Tompkins, and then there's ancillary events that happen around that. So
you guys put on an incredible after party at New Blue last year.
Thank you.
That was amazing. For those who know,
that was a new ad.
And I stole one of your artists for my festival from that.
Oh, you did? Who was it?
Renee.
Oh, it was Renee?
Yeah. That's where I got to meet her and introduce her.
Oh, well, I don't think it's stealing. I think it's giving Renee more opportunities to perform as a leader, so I love that. When we program the main stage outside of the ancillary events, my goals are always to make sure we have women and that it's balanced. I always try to make sure that we have a legend slots that are filled in, and then other goals are to bring in people, discovery artists may not have been heard of or that are new and up and coming. And then I also have to the headliner slots I have to book as big as I possibly can with the budget that I have, because we have to bring in at least 2,000 to 3,000 people into the park. So that is always, I always book from top and then fill in. I've gotten into obstacles where if I book an opening slot before I book my headliner, it has put me in difficult positions, because I also make sure that the artists are aware of who are performing around them, and sometimes there's dynamics. That is actually more so in the summer stage capacity, because we're booking artists outside of jazz, and there's other politics, I'll say, around that jazz doesn't necessarily deal with.
You ready to get some clicks? You're going to get some heat.
No, before you said that, I was actually going to chime in and say, a lot of series and festivals, I mean, they book what maybe one would think of as a non-jazz artist. Mm-hmm. Is that something that you do? Is that a pressure that you feel to bring in more dough? I mean, how do you feel about that?
Yeah. Yeah, Charlie Parker is very specific. I've learned a lot from artistic director Erica Elliott. Shout out to Erica Elliott. With Charlie Parker, I have to book more straight ahead as I possibly can. I can't really steer outside of that just because of the namesake and the tradition. My personal taste is to challenge that, because Charlie Parker's lineage hits so many other extensions and touch points of the genre of the music. It's constantly evolving. So my personal taste, I would put lots of different things on there that might be controversial. So there's summer stage, there's more opportunity to book freely, because we also partner with Blue Note Jazz Festival. And as we all know, Blue Note is constantly pushing boundaries and booking all types of artists that are inside, that are straight ahead, or that are more jazz adjacent. So there's more freedom there. And then each individual show that we program caters to communities in different ways that look like New York City, from Caribbean to French to, there's so many cultures, to Jewish to, we serve every community. Then there's hip hop community, and Ghanaian. We have all types of programs.
This is for summer stage.
And that's for summer stage in general. So
do you have like a team that sits down and says, like, this year let's hit this community?
Yes.
Okay. And how do you decide that?
So we're in all 5 boroughs. So it depends which parks that we're in. So Von King Park, for example, is in Bed-Stuy. And we've also been in Coney Island. There's a lot of Caribbean folks in Brooklyn. So we'll book a Caribbean show. We'll be like, we got to hit the Caribbean community this year. So we're going to do
It's
that.
location-based.
Mm-hmm, location-based. And then Central Park is kind of more open to all, because a lot of people Manhattan is a hub for many. Mm-hmm. It also depends on the partnership as well, because when we have more culturally focused programming, it's generally a partnership. So we'll work with like the French consulate, and they'll help support a show, and then we'll work with sometimes VP Records, and that's a Caribbean show. So
cool.
And each partner contributes differently in different ways. No partnership looks the same, essentially. So partnerships are really what drive, because we're 4 people and we're not experts on every genre, every culture. So that's where a lot of that's how we're able to hit the audiences and touch the people. So a big difference from like working there and at a place like Jazz at Lincoln Center is that we're not booking our taste. We're booking for the people. We're booking the people's taste. We're booking the culture, versus I'm going to tell you what the culture is, and I'm going to teach you what the culture is. So very different ways to program and artistic direct. So
cool.
It's been a great learning experience, and I like doing both.
That's cool insight. What? How about you for your festival?
I'm kind of on the exact opposite side, but we have the same goals in mind. So in terms of going from the top down, in terms of diversity of the acts, but I get to program things because we don't have those kind of bigger partners, and we don't have the type of interests that are kind of directing where they want to see their funding going. I'm able to it's like a playlist, So we start with this year, our artist in residence is Chris Dave. I said I wanted to find someone who can provide multiple shows presenting different kinds of music, someone who brings in multiple audiences, but who has roots in real jazz. I mean, he came up playing with Kenny Garrett and, some of the guys that we really admire in the jazz world. And he's also a big enough name to support having some of the other acts. And from there, we can program the rest of the night. But my main goal is to bring his fans to the show, and then they're going to meet Georgia Hears and have no idea who she is, but then fall in love with her. So it's an opportunity through using that headliner or through how you program each event that you kind of get in the back door. So our trumpet stage, which we have at Dada this year, we have 9 trumpeters. We try and do a headliner, a middle career, and a rising star. So tonight we have Skylar Tang. She's still in college. She just appeared on Josh Redman's last album. She's a phenomenal musician, unbelievable. And she's a kid. So no one knows who she is yet. But we're going to put her on stage with Cali Rodriguez Pena and then with Billy Buss. And a lot of people are going to come out and check her out. And now they're going to know. And she's going to have a bunch of new fans. And then hopefully, when she's a household name, we're going to bring her back. So the goals are the same. Diversity, making sure that we have someone who reflects multiple areas of the music. And then giving myself the freedom to have artists that are for my taste. So I get to have a little more of that personal touch. Almost everyone who's performing this year and last year are people who I know personally or who I am one person removed from. So a big part of what I do, because I'm on such a tight budget, is that type of relationship building. Even with the headlining acts, it requires a lot of work trying to find a number and letting them know what we're doing, what we're about, and how they're going to impact our community by their involvement. So, Chris commands a very high fee that we can't afford, but he knows that we're a not-for-profit, that we're serving the community, and he's willing to, maybe take a little bit less because we're giving him, his flowers. He's the headliner. He's the king of the weekend.
Okay, cool. I want to make sure we don't skip over the educational component. What kind of stuff you're doing within the communities?
Yeah, so I've been really fortunate to partner with NYU. They have a school called the Clive Davis School of Music, which is a really incredible program. Brilliant students, really amazing. I went into one of their workshops last year, and they all played tracks they were working on. So
is that in Ridgewood?
It's in Brooklyn.
Okay.
Hoyt Schermerhorn. They have a big building there, or J Street or something. But they have 2 full recording studios, professional level. They actually have the Beastie Boys mixing board, their soundboard. They have transported it in there, and because they're a famous NYU band, of course. But having access to these students in that school, they provide a lot of support. And then I can also help them, mentor them. So that's a great relationship that we get to have. And then we program at least one educational workshop. So we had a guitar improv workshop at a partner music school. And then we also offer family music classes and events. So from toddlers, we have a program, to middle school. And then we try to make the rest of our shows accessible for all ages and for no ticket. So you pay a donation at the door to get in, or they're free. And hopefully that will encourage more families, younger people, to be able to attend where they can't afford to get a $50 ticket, or they can't get into a jazz club because they're not old enough.
Right.
With Summer Stage and Charlie Parker Jazz Festival, there isn't much of an education component because it's under the umbrella of City Parks Foundation, which is a nonprofit. It's actually not a city government entity. It's not run by City Parks itself. So the mission of City Parks Foundation is to bring people into parks. And City Parks Foundation also has education component that isn't related to music. It's related to the environment and serving the community in a way that's going to bring them to care and nurture parks. And there's a whole coastal program for kids. So in that way, there's a whole other education component to the organization. But outside of my work there, Melanie Charles and I have a movement called Make Jazz Trill Again. And we've gone into schools such as Skidmore, and we're about to go into Wesleyan to kind of share process with college students, or our process, our experience. And then we've also kind of talked about, kind of filled in gaps where professors in these music programs don't necessarily have the capacity to teach outside of like ensembles, and just like what the music industry is like now, what they should be thinking about and learning as an artist, as a business. Because I found that with my musical background in college and everything, that there weren't any classes about like entrepreneurship and being a business entity, which I'm sure you two also have that. It's a big problem. So
We had a required music business class. Everything we learned was obsolete in about a year.
Exactly. Like, it would be great to learn how to do your taxes in school if they could teach you that. But
Yeah. High school.
in high school, right, before you get to college, before you start making money. But so we go into schools to try to talk more, just be real with students in a way that we felt that we weren't real with. So that's outside of the work that I do at City Parks Foundation.
Cool. Awesome. Beautiful. Okay, we need to wrap up this portion of the podcast. We're going to move into the rapid fire. Before we do that, I want to give a shout out to my friend Rob Garcia, who's an amazing drummer, but also executive director of Connection Works, which is a Brooklyn-based nonprofit that hosts concert series and does a lot of great stuff. So thank you for being here, Rob. Okay. This is a way for the listenership to get to know you guys. All right?
You look nervous, Mike.
You do look nervous, Mike. So in a hotel, when you're like touring or maybe just, on vacation or something, would you rather have bad water pressure or bad pillows?
Whew. I'll take bad water pressure over bad pillows.
You want good pillows?
It'd be nice. It'd be
Okay.
nice. I'm not in a gross way, but I'm probably not going to always shower in every hotel room. Sometimes you get in, it's
Look,
like
we can
3
cut
in the
that out,
morning,
right?
and you got a 6 a.m. lobby call. I'm not taking a shower. I'm going to try and crash and then get out of here. So
Okay.
more important, the pillow.
See, we're going to learn about our guests.
I'm gonna have to take the pillows because I need to take a shower. I need a nice shower. It's the only way I'm gonna feel good.
Now, Noah, you're a hotel germaphobe extreme. So
Yeah.
I'm surprised you love the hotel shower.
I don't like any of it.
Yeah, all of it's bad.
I'm not into hotels. I don't like hotels. Okay, next. Espresso or drip?
Espresso. Many.
Espresso.
Okay, me 3. What's your favorite Olympic sport?
Summer or winter.
Either, any season.
Basketball.
Okay.
Man, I love the weird ones. Anything I don't know anything about, like team high diving or like some kind of equestrian thing, like
Is it
whatever's
team
on
high
at
diving?
3 a.m. That's what I like. Stuff
like,
I don't
oh.
see all the time.
What up,
Yeah.
curling?
Yeah, oh man, I was really,
You're a curling guy.
really into
Okay.
curling. Yeah, because you'll see soccer, like track, whatever. I see that
Right.
stuff, but I don't see like people shooting and then cross country skiing all the time. So I like that stuff.
Fortunately, you don't see that all the time.
Right.
Okay, what are your biggest vices?
Food. I love to eat, and I can't stop.
That's not a vice though. That's like
For me, it is. I don't
That's
know.
a treat. Oh man, I don't know if this is exactly a vice, but I'm working on the road rage.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
I'm working on that.
You're from Atlanta.
I live
Yeah,
in the
there's
New
horrible
York,
traffic
bro.
there,
Well, look, I lived in Atlanta, Miami, and New York. So my entire existence has been horrible driving in traffic. I'm working on it.
All right.
Namaste.
Red wine or whiskey?
Whiskey.
I'm gonna say whiskey because sometimes I get allergic to wine, but I do love wine. So
Yeah. If the wine is great, wine. But it rarely is, so I'll take the whiskey.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, we'll move into some music questions. Charlie Parker or John Coltrane?
John Coltrane.
Coltrane.
Okay. Snoop or Eminem?
Snoop D-O-double-G.
Snoop.
Okay. Hendrix or B.B. King?
Hendrix.
I'm gonna go Hendrix.
Okay.
What's up, Yunie? All right, girl. What's up?
Let's go.
Big Pun or Prodigy?
Big Pun.
Pun.
Okay. Nat King Cole or Frank Sinatra?
Nat King Cole.
I'm going Frank.
Little blue eyes.
Yeah, it's just that voice. It's like, it's apple pie. Gotta love it.
I don't know. Nat King Cole's like the OG, so he started it.
Who's more important to their genre, Lauryn Hill or Billie Holiday?
Ooh,
That's a good one.
I think Lauryn Hill, but I don't love that I'm saying that. But I think that's the right answer.
Important.
Lauryn Hill changed the game.
She did. She really did. But
Billie Holiday had a long, beautiful
but then
career.
she's mother. It just feels wrong. So I'm just gonna say Billie because it feels wrong to.
Well, I said Frank Sinatra in my last answer, and Frank Sinatra loved Billie Holiday. I mean, that was like his number one.
I mean, no Billie, no Lauren.
Yeah.
So that's where I come
I'm
from.
sticking with Lauren.
Yeah.
I'm sticking with it.
Respectfully, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's a toughie. Would you rather break down in the middle of the Brooklyn Battery Tunnel or have an artist no show last minute for a concert you're putting on?
Is it the headliner or anyone?
Yeah, headliner.
Oh,
No show. I'll get stuck in the tunnel.
Really?
Yeah, I'm gonna get out. It's
I try to
way-
avoid that tunnel in general.
Right.
But I got to agree, man. That's a big
get out.
headache.
I
I can call someone to get where I need to, who can fill in for me or something. But I can't. I
We're
can't
gonna
replace
get out of
the
there,
headliner.
right? Yeah.
Okay. That's a tough one, though.
Who comes up with you? You come up with you.
These are all Noah's neuroses in these questions. He's trying to figure out how to deal with
Biggest
himself.
fears.
Yeah.
Favorite city in the world?
New York,
New York,
Okay. Other than New York?
L.A.
Tokyo.
Okay.
Well, I haven't traveled. I'm not as well traveled, so
New York's got everything.
I love Montreal too.
Yeah.
Montreal's great. If you had a week free and money was no issue, where would you want to spend that time?
Paris.
Money, no issue. Jamaica.
Jamaica's cheap though. Money's
So
no
nice.
issue.
I need that
Go
sun.
to like St. Bart's or something.
I need food. I need sun. I need ocean, blue water. That's me.
If you had extra money or time, what social cause would you devote yourself to?
I put it into Ridgewood Jazz Fest, man.
The music.
Let's
yeah.
go.
Okay.
More concerts.
All right.
Recording.
What project are you most proud of, either as a producer or promoter or musician?
My most recent project, I'd say, Hey Love Collective, recording that I was able to put out. I had never recorded or put out a project.
Oh, it's your baby.
Yeah, so it's the first release, and yeah, it was hard.
Yeah, I have a love-hate relationship with all of my releases. I do think that Blues Variant, which was a record I did on Crisscross that you were on, was a really strong album, start to finish. I think it was concise and told a unique story. But in terms of being proud, I think putting on this festival has unlocked kind of a new sense of that. Mostly because like when you make a record, you don't get people's response. Like when you're doing a show. So here I get to see how everyone is reacting and enjoying the music and the festival.
I didn't know you worked with Crisscross. That's a
Yeah,
great,
shout out to Crisscross,
There's
Jerry.
a lot of great records on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's when you do this as long as we have, you run around and you eventually smack into something good like a Crisscross release.
Yeah, congrats.
Who is the most influential person you've worked with?
That's a really good question. I mean, I have like a college professor who was a very strong mentor of mine. I also say he's a very strong tour mentor of mine. I think a lot of people have that relationship with, especially if you work on something like music. And then from just a life kind of perspective thing, I'll say my old man, my dad. He was always someone I looked up to, and how he lives his life. It was always something to aspire to.
I would say there's two. Eric Wright, who is the managing director of Alvin Ailey, and Erica Elliott, who's the artistic director of Summer Stage. And both of them changed my life in a big way, where they helped me get out of the bucket of jazz and just be able to explore and work with big artists outside of jazz, which was a big desire, and I had no idea how to do it. So those two in particular. And in music, I would say Renee McLean is my saxophone mentor.
I want to shout out one more person named Jim Stinnett, who passed away maybe 7 years ago. But he was the first music teacher I had in high school who really kind of showed me that it's possible to have a life in music. And there's like a very easy and regimented way that you can achieve your goals as a musician. So I want to shout him out as well.
Cool. A couple more, please. Yes. I feel like this is an important one for people to hear about. How do you gauge success as it pertains to your own career?
Freedom. The more freedom I have, the more successful I am. When I can be on my own schedule, wake up when I want, take the gigs I want, live the life I want, go on vacation, all the things that feed that part of life, that happiness quotient. To me, that's called freedom, and that's what success is.
I 100% agree. That where you can live a life of balance. That is definitely, I 100% agree. And right now I'm at a point where if I need to separate all of the music from my identity, because all of it could go away. So being successful is just having your self-identity, just being myself. Because this whole music game can put you in a dark place if you're not careful. So that to me is success.
Cool. Last question. What one album would you pass on to your children? Because it's essential listening to pass on to the next generation.
You're insane.
Any genre.
One.
Yeah.
I actually have one that I can kind of quickly say that comes right to the top of my mind, because it was the first album that I really remembered that like kind of flicked on the light switch, of music, which was Stevie Wonder's Talking Book. That record just like blew my mind apart into a million pieces, and still does today. So I think that's a amazing album for every generation to get into.
I'd say just one album, maybe it's like Off the Wall, because Quincy Jones.
Bangers.
Yeah, there's bangers, like you're gonna dance, you're gonna like, it's rich arrangements, there's so many things that were sampled from that record too, and then Quincy Jones is like the hand in jazz as well. It just feels very all encompassing. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Off the Wall, but the Puerto Rican Caribbean side of me is like, what about that? So I would also say like Hector Lavoe, one of those funnier records would be great, or Celia, but it's hard. That's hard, but Off the Wall.
I would go with John Coltrane, Johnny Hartman.
Oh, yeah.
I think would be my number one.
That's a beautiful record.
Yeah.
We all picked albums with singers for a jazz podcast. That's, maybe not typical.
Thank you both so much for doing this.
Thanks for having us.
You guys are both incredibly impressive, amazing people.
Thank you.
And really appreciate Dada for having us, and Jazz Language and Chill Tone. One last thing, and this is very important. We have a Yankees fan, and we have a Braves fan, and we have a Mets fan. Can we get a little applause for each one of those teams? If you're a Yankees fan, Braves fan,
How
or
about
a Mets
applause
fan?
for the most recent World Series champion of those three teams?
Oh God!
Let's give applause for the Yankee fan. Yankee fan.
It's about to be quiet. I don't know
Braves? Braves? One. Mets?
We are in Queens, so
Right. Well, that's why I'm saying it. All right. Thank you so much.
We all hate the Dodgers.
Hope you guys enjoyed the
Dodgers,
music.
I know.
Stay tuned. I'm going to play a duo set with Max Light, and then Caleb Curtis has an amazing band playing right after us. So don't go anywhere.